All righty. Okay, so I'm sharing out so you guys can see what I'm seeing. There we go. And I do have my phone next to me if somebody notices something wonky happening and wants to text me at some point during this presentation.
I'll just tell you.
Sean says he'll just tell me. So thank you guys for jumping on tonight. If you are anywhere near as busy as we are, then I know that it's really hard to fit in carving out time, even 5 minutes, not to mention 30 to 40, to sit and listen to something on a weeknight. But I'm here to share. I would love, feedback, and I can open it up afterwards for questions. My name is Kim McColl. For those of you who don't know me, I love that I do know so many of you on the phone because that makes it extra fun for me. But I am a certified health coach, and I'm actually also a mom, and many of you know that. So I am going to approach this evening and my explanation of Shred10 from both of those positions, from some of the more scientific background on what it is, how it works, and why it works, but also just from a real deal person perspective, someone who's extraordinarily busy with young kids herself and loves to travel and indulge and all of those things like everyone else, why this is doable and why this is amazing and how it's affecting us personally as a family as we shred and get healthier, and also so many of the people we love and care about. So I hope that you'll leave here not just fuller as far as education goes, but much fuller as far as hope goes, and really, really think of yourselves as people who are fully in control of the decisions that we're making. We all have so much more discipline than we think we do, and some of the things that we're going to talk about tonight can really be the jumpstart and the catalyst for incredible changes when it comes to health, and can certainly change and shift the path that your life will take as you make some of these decisions. So first and foremost, some of you are familiar with Shred10. Some of you have even participated in a Shred10. It is called Shred10 because it's a 10-day jumpstart. It was never intended to just be a 10-day program. There are 3 portions of it, and hopefully you can see my cursor. The first part is called Shred10, where we're going to shred it. It's a 10-day jumpstart. Then there is a live it portion, which is where we roll into maintenance, because ultimately what we want to be presenting are lifestyle shifts that are doable, that are flexible, and that are affordable, so that this is something that you can do for the rest of your life. These are lifestyle changes that can become part of who you are. Also, we want something that you can jump back into whenever you need that jump start and you need that pick me up. I just had really the privilege and the honor of coaching yet another group of amazing shredders. I think we had about 200 go through my group in February, and it's just like the results are rolling in because today is day 11. So I've shared some of them with you later in this talk tonight. But I have to tell you, for those of you who don't know me personally, this is not what I always did for a life. And I say for a life and not for a living, because the two are one and the same anymore. This is what I do professionally, but it's also what I do for life and for fun and for fulfillment, and really for joy. And I don't use that word lightly. I have shared with a lot of my friends over the last decade, that I've always felt like I was such a happy person, but I'd like to find joy, because that's something kind of unique and exquisite and sometimes out of reach when we're so busy and we're running around. But for me personally, having this opportunity to align myself personally and professionally, and really have the chance to pour into people like you and to help inspire you to be healthier and inspire healthy living in my own community and around the country and around the world, it has really taken me beyond that place of happiness and into a place of joy. And as cheesy as that sounds, it's day 11 right now of a 10-day shred. So I just finished with a group, and it's like Christmas to me. You have no idea. Every time I get the results from someone, I have them all write them on a piece of paper with hashtag Shred10 at the top and their own personal results. Just before we jumped on the call, I got 2 texts from neighbors that I can't wait for you to see, Sean, that I was blown away by, like results that I'm just so incredibly excited about. People that are beyond excited to adopt this lifestyle for the long haul. People that have had decades long pain disappear in a 10-day period. So that just makes me extraordinarily happy. So thank you for giving me the opportunity to share with you, because this really does make my day, believe it or not, to be able to sit here at 9 o'clock at night and talk to people from all over the country about something that we all have control over. Okay. So the first thing I want to start with is sharing that regardless of where we sit today, personally, some of us are very luckily in a place of fairly good health. Okay. Some of us might come from a place where we might be in okay health right now, but maybe we have a family history. We certainly do in our family and in most families I talk to of, heart disease, diabetes, cancer, stroke. It's very, very common when you look around, and there might be people on the phone that have already been diagnosed or are already suffering with some kind of chronic condition. And I just want to stress that no matter where we're starting or where we're coming from, there are two trends in our world that are rather startling when you really start to dig into them, that are affecting all of us. Honey, can you turn that off? Okay. Sorry, my husband was trying to listen and right next to me. Just log off. That'll make it better. There are two trends that are really affecting all of us and our children. So I'm going to go through those. The first is environmental toxins. They're increasing. And really it dates back to the Industrial Revolution. And I'm not going to give a history lesson here, but when you dig into what we're looking at today from an environmental toxicity perspective, it is on the rise, and a lot of that is industrialization, and it is combustion and some pollutants that are in the air, that are in the rain, that are in the soil. Okay. So that is something that needs to be considered. We are under a lot more environmental strain than we once were. And will likely continue to be as we progress, from a technological perspective. Hopefully we'll eventually be able to technologically advance to a point where we can get some of that under a little bit more control. But for now, environmental toxins are most certainly a concern. The other trend is that our food quality is decreasing. And this is, the mountain I'm willing to die on, as people say, but I mean it. Like, I found my thing here. This is my thing. Helping people understand the reality of where we are today and what we can do about it. I never want to be that person that's out here giving education that scares somebody. All of this education is meant to do just that, is to educate you, but also to help you understand that you can do something about it. Okay. In fact, if there was nothing if I truly thought there was nothing we could do about some of the things I'll share here, I wouldn't be sharing it, because to me that would do nothing but upset me and depress me. But it's just the opposite. We are very much in control of helping ourselves and helping our family get healthy and stay healthy. Okay, so I want to talk a little bit about that. Take a look at some of the things on the list: preservatives, flavor enhancers, emulsifiers, synthetic vitamins, GMO. These were things that were not in our food supply for many, many years. And I am not going to go off on a huge tangent here. I could, but we met with a very renowned allergist a few weeks ago, and she's on the same page with us. She believes that our food supply over the last several decades has gotten to a point that it's really affecting our bodies and the way we're responding to food and the way our immune systems are responding to many triggers that come apart on a daily basis. Keep in mind, again, this is not a scare tactic. I wrote a few things down because I want you to understand it. When it comes to the things over here on the left, food quality, many people, like this gentleman right here, he's reading a label, but many of us assume that just because it's on the grocery store shelf, that it's at least somewhat safe. Maybe it's not the healthiest choice, but it's at least safe. I don't believe that that's the case, personally and professionally. And I'm somebody that has spent a lot of time on that. Do I think that's always going to be the case? No, I don't. I think the pendulum has already started swinging in the other direction, because there are a lot of people out there that are making lots of noise and getting an education about this. but I'm going to use first cosmetics, because food is one thing. I'm going to talk about that in a minute. We put that in our body. But, you know, women and men alike are using lotions, deodorants, you name it, makeups, perfumes. You look at Europe. Europe has banned 1,000 different chemicals in cosmetics. Of those 1,000 chemicals that are banned in Europe and most other developed countries in the world, we, the US, have banned 9. That's pretty scary. And I can do a whole follow-up on that for whoever wants it, because I have some good resources. Yeah, EWG website, Environmental Working Group, if you're taking notes, is an extraordinary resource. So go there and figure out what cosmetics and toiletries you can be using. And you take a look at the food supply. There are hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of ingredients and food additives and preservatives that are perfectly allowed and legal in our food supply in the US that are banned in every other developed country in the world. It's not fair, but it's our reality. And I looked up a couple of them today because I just wanted to share a handful, but 4 of them that pop up a lot. BVO, you'll see oftentimes on things, it's actually brominated vegetable oil, BVO. Very toxic, very harmful ingredient. And one of the main things it's found in is sport drinks like Gatorade. Okay. And I only mention this because I see people drinking it around me all the time. Even my son today, I gave him this little tidbit of information. He said, oh, but sometimes a professional athlete has to drink Gatorade after a tough game because it's the best drink they could drink. And I said, no, it's not. Water is the best drink they could drink. Another one, TBHQ. You'll see a lot on things, and they'll have TBHQ as preservative. I've been avoiding this since 2010 when I first learned about it and what it can do. But I'll give you an example of something that it's in. Cheez-Its. This is a staple in a lot of homes. In this country, that ingredient is allowed to be in our food up to 0.02 grams per serving. That is what the United States has somehow decided is okay. 0.02 grams per serving. Just an FYI, as little as 3 grams has been proven to be able to kill someone. So these are things that are of concern to me. And I think they should be a concern to you and other people as well. That said, there are alternatives. I buy a Cheez-It Imposter, and, a good one that doesn't have that in it. It's still a cheese type cracker that my kids can enjoy, but it doesn't have the BVO or the TBHQ in it. So these are things that we can learn together and understand. I provide lots of information on things like this while we're shredding. Another one is BHA and BHT, very, very common in our foods. Also a preservative, very commonly found in cereal. That is one of the least desirable ingredients in the rest of the world and one of the most prevalent in what we're seeing today. For those who are taking notes, BHA and BHT. And lastly, this one's near and dear to me, artificial colors and flavors. This one's near and dear to me not only because it affects my daughter in particular. It's night and day when she's had food dye. It's very, very obvious to us. The wheels come off the bus a bit. But it's crazy prevalent. It's ridiculously prevalent in our food supply today. And again, in many other countries, they are not allowed to have artificial colors and flavors. Kraft food, Kraft mac and cheese was full of artificial colors and flavors in this country. They're not allowed to sell that same formulation in Europe. So they're perfectly able to formulate a safer product. They're just not here yet. Actually, they are now because a whole lot of people put on the heat. So we as consumers have a say. If we stop buying things with artificial colors and flavors in them, guess what go away? Artificial colors and flavors, right? We are a consumer-driven world. Artificial colors and flavors are derived from petroleum, and they are linked to a lot of neurological issues, disorders, ADHD, hyperactivity. It's just something to consider, and it's something worth pulling out of your food supply. Okay. So I just wanted to bring some of those up, because these toxins that I'm talking about here, and you look over here, pesticides, that kind of thing. Pesticides is a big one. A lot of food is being sprayed. If you're driving down the highway and you see a field of crops and you see somebody out there spraying, whether it's through a big vehicle or whether they're in a hazmat suit, you guys, I've seen them in a hazmat suit out there spraying. Guess what? It's not salad dressing. They're not sprinkling salad dressing out there on the veggies. Okay? It's not. So this combination of toxins that some are avoidable, some are absolutely avoidable, and we're going to work on that during Shred 10. Some are absolutely not avoidable. Some of those environmental toxins that we talked about, some of the things that happen in our body by way of oxidative stress, just when we breathe and when we exercise, those things aren't avoidable. We don't want to stop breathing. We don't want to stop exercising. But this combination of toxins is really wreaking havoc right now in so many of us. And so many people are being treated with multiple pharmaceuticals to try to treat these things that are happening inside their bodies. And in many cases, those pharmaceuticals add more side effects to the list of concerns. And I'm not saying there's not a time and place for modern medicine and pharmaceuticals, because there absolutely are. And I've been thankful to have them when I've needed them. But I do think that we can avoid the need many, many times if we educate ourselves a little bit. And that's what we're going to do for you during a Shred 10. Okay. So I'm about to get crazy nerdy for just a minute. I know this slide's ridiculous, but I'm going to share it anyway. And I'm really going to break it down and make it simple. But this is fascinating to me. This should probably tell you a little bit. This should tell you a little bit about me, that this slide fascinates me. But the long and short of it is this. Your liver is so much more important than you realize, okay? Your liver is the brain of your digestive system. A lot of people now are striving to learn more about clean eating and gut health and, inflammation that stems from leaky gut and that sort of thing. That's all digestive system. Our liver is the brain of that digestive system. And our livers, you guys, are smart enough to recognize molecules that are either useless or even harmful, and literally biotransform them into a molecule that's water soluble and can be excreted out of our body. Our bodies are genius. This is the liver right here. This is a lot of toxins, and we've already talked about some of them, are agricultural, food additives, household pollutants, that type of thing. I know all the details on this because I've listened to an hour-long call on this one slide, but phase 1 and phase 2 reactions take place. And right here, the intermediary metabolite that enables these toxins to go from fat soluble through phase 1 and phase 2 reactions to water soluble and able to be excreted through either urine or your feces is happening right here. Intermediary metabolites. Those intermediary metabolites come from plants. They come from plant derivatives, protective nutrients, and antioxidants that only come from fruits and vegetables. For decades, we've been told to eat our fruits and vegetables. Centuries, we've been told to eat our fruits and vegetables. They're probably one of the only naturally occurring things that are out there on earth, fruits and vegetables. They're there for a reason. It's because our body desperately needs them. Our liver desperately needs them to complete this process, okay? Something very interesting here. Since most toxins are fat soluble, you see that right here, like pesticides, like I just told you, when they are secreted, the fat is shedded with them. Now, there is a difference, friends, between shedding fat, like I'm talking about here, shedding fat through reducing toxicity, and burning fat. We burn fat when we either restrict our calorie intake or when we over-exercise. Both of those things produce an excess of oxidative stress, which actually work against what the liver is trying to do here, okay? Free radicals and oxidative stress are causing secondary tissue damage, and they're reacting to this intermediate right here, okay? This intermediate needs to be able to pop over there. So I know that's a little bit of a confusing slide, but it's really, really important that you know why we are focusing so much on reducing toxicity during Shred 10. It's because that is where it all begins. We have great success, guys, when we focus on what the liver needs. We have to work really, really hard with the body's natural desire to eliminate toxins so that we can shred the fat. And here's the thing. Most people are completely unaware of how many fruits and vegetables it takes daily to complete this process. And it's a lot, okay? This is a great example right here of what we're talking about during Shred 10. The top part of this slide is what most of us are used to, dieting or over-exercising, okay? And when I say dieting, I'm talking about restricting or hugely cutting out. I have friends who have been to the point where they're like, I'm not allowed to eat fruit on the diet that I'm on. Well, any diet that says you can't eat fruit, when that is where a lion's share of antioxidants come from that are very necessary for our functioning, concerns me a little bit. So when we diet, this is a picture of many of us, okay? Listen very closely to this, because when I learned this, there were so many dots that were connected for me, and our lives have changed because we understand this now. It is easy for us to maintain a healthy weight. It is easy for us to feel healthy, and it's because we understand this. So this is most people right here. Our bodies are so smart that they hold on to enough excess fat to protect us. So if you're a person that maybe lost a significant or even smaller amount of weight and then you plateaued and you just can't get off that last 20 pounds, there's probably a very good reason for that. It's because your body is protecting you, okay? Because what happens is the toxins that are in our body from all the things I just talked about, all those food additives, all those chemicals that we shouldn't be eating, all the oxidative stress and just the things we can't avoid, fat enrobes those toxins, okay? Protects your vital organs from coming into contact with them. It's a self-protection mechanism. As we burn fat instead of shedding it, you're exposing vital organs to those toxins because you haven't gotten rid of the toxins, remember? You're just burning fat through diet or over-exercise. Oftentimes, you feel worse. You may have lost some weight, but you feel worse. And then that self-protection mechanism kicks in, and it's called a rebound. It happens all the time. I can't tell you how many friends have come to me with that issue. This is why cleansing is different. And I'm not talking about cleansing by taking some kind of harsh supplement or by drinking only juices. I'm talking about cleansing through giving your body the sheer volume and variety of that plant matter required to reduce toxicity, and at the same time coupling that with clean eating. That's what I'm talking about when I say cleansing. Cleansing through healthy habits and not through something crazy. Now, what happens there, this same person started, but remember that last slide, they're now shedding fat because that process in the liver has been able to happen because we have enough plant matter in our diet, giving the body the nutrients that it needs to succeed. The toxicity has been reduced. So not only do you have a better overall feeling, not only have you shedded some fat, gained lean muscle mass, and you'll see some of the other results later, but there's no rebound. This is the magnificent part about it. This is so, so important. We don't want to set ourselves up for failure. We want to set ourselves up to make a lifestyle shift that's going to stick and make a difference forever for the rest of our lives, okay? At the end of the day, I'm going to give you 3 or 4 statements here that I think really wrap up the first part of this talk. At the end of the day, too many people are settling for less than looking and feeling their best because they have never been told that the problem to begin with is too much toxicity, and they have no idea that they can do something about it. Think about that for a minute. Most of the people out there that are settling for looking or feeling less than their best don't understand that toxicity is at the root cause, nor do they know that they can pretty easily do something about it. So what we're going to do in Shred 10 is we're going to match the myriad of those toxic chemicals with an equally robust set of phytonutrients that are coming from whole food plants, okay? It is going to be far easier to maintain a better state of health, not just during this 10-day shred, but for the rest of your life, if you're continuing to cleanse these toxins out of your liver regularly by helping the liver get those cofactors that it needs from plants, okay? We're going to do exactly that, and we're going to talk about right now. The easiest part of Shred10, if you ask me, is the nutritional support. It's like the easy button, because ideally this is what we intake in a day. Cherries, apples, artichoke, kale, spinach, pineapple, quinoa, you name it. So that would be hard to do on a day-to-day basis. In fact, I wrote a quote down somewhere, and I'm going to try to find it, because here we go. Mitra Ray she's an unbelievable biophysicist. She worked very closely with a lot of other doctors in developing Shred10. But I was on a call with her where she said this, and I wrote it down. She went through some of what we just talked about, and she said, you literally cannot eat your way there in today's more toxic world. You have to supplement with additional plant matter in whole food form if you expect to look and feel your best. And that's what we're talking about. When she says whole food form, this is what she means. When we eat Juice Plus, we're eating the whole orange. We're getting the rind. We're getting the rind of the apple. Here's the apple. We're also getting the stem. We're also getting the seeds. When was the last time you ate the stem and the seeds in your apple? Probably been a while, right? But there's a lot of nutrients in there, okay? So we are going to use Juice Plus capsules to get the micronutrition that we need, and the shakes to get the macronutrition. And I'm going to go through them both for just a couple minutes so you really understand what they are. But Juice Plus itself are those phytonutrients that we just talked about. They are that intermediary that's going to allow your body to turn those molecules that are toxic and unusable into something that you can actually excrete. And that's what you want. You want them out, not in. Better out than in, okay? Sorry. All of those are going to be found in here. When we take 2 red, 2 green, 2 purple capsules a day, we're eating over 30 raw fruits and vegetables and berries. That's pretty amazing. So I take mine before I even brush my teeth in the morning. Before I even brush my teeth in the morning, I've had 30 different kinds of fruits and vegetables and berries, okay? That's incredible. I still eat healthy throughout the day because I want to avoid all of those other things that we were just talking about. But my goodness, like, think about this. I'm going to let you in on another little secret. Sean knows this because he does our budget. I have always worked hard to stay healthy. It's just part of who I am. And I was a biology major as well as a marketing major, but I knew enough from my biology background that I understood the importance of fruits and vegetables. So I've always eaten and enjoyed fruits and vegetables. However, when I went to become a certified health coach and I got more in depth in my training in nutrition, it became obvious to me just the sheer quantity and variety required to really start to affect prevention, which is what I want, for myself and my family. So I was that person, and Sean can attest to this. Every single time I went to the grocery store, I bought the amount of fruits and vegetables that our family should eat in a week, right? Every time. Not what we were going to eat, what we should eat. And I am really embarrassed about how much food during those years I threw away. It's embarrassing, really embarrassing, if you ask me. How much money weekly and monthly was going down the drain. But it was because it was coming from a good place, I promise. It was because I knew what my family needed to be eating, and I was committed to trying my best to make it happen. But it's next to impossible to get this kind of nutrition into your body every single day without something easy like this. So now we still eat tons of fruits and vegetables, but I buy what we're going to eat, what I know we're going to eat. There is very little waste in our house, and I could guarantee you that we're saving money once we started Juice Plus. Because the other thing is these shakes I have for a meal a day, and you'll see, the cost breakdown at the end. But please know that this is how you're flooding your body with all of the micronutrients that you're going to need day in and day out. And we'll talk a little bit more about those in a minute. Now, how often do you normally eat? Good question. I eat all day. People ask me that. I'm like, well, I eat all day. So does Sean. We both did. Our kids actually kind of do too. The influence of glycemic index, I don't know if you've heard that term, on your blood glucose level is major. Okay. So if you look here, this zone of willpower is where good decisions are made, period. So many people think willpower is like a gene. I've actually had people say to me, I don't have the willpower gene. You know what they mean? What they mean is either I don't eat often enough, or I'm eating high glycemic foods that are spiking my blood sugar and then having them drop down, because willpower is a direct correlation with blood sugar. Proven. We make better decisions when our blood sugar is here. So that is where Juice Plus Complete comes in, where those capsules were your micronutrients, the ones that are going to help you shed, those toxins that you really, really need to get out of your body to make everything else work as it should. These Juice Plus Complete shakes are really going to help with your willpower. And if you're somebody who says, wouldn't help with my willpower, you have never had 2 complete shakes in a day. I could almost guarantee if you're a person that has consistently had 2 Juice Plus Complete shakes a day and you still feel like you don't have willpower, please call me because I haven't heard it yet. This is unbelievable nutrition. The reason they call it complete is because it's the perfect balance of complex carbs, healthy fats, and plant protein. So it actually has the same glycemic index as broccoli. So it really keeps you in that willpower mode. So the first 2 things we're saying yes to for Shred10 are popping our Juice Plus capsules every morning and drinking 2 complete shakes during that 10-day period, because that is going to help us have the willpower to eat clean all of our other snacks and meals for the rest of the day. This is not a calorie restricted challenge at all. We are eliminating chemicals. We're counting chemicals, not calories, okay? I've had so many participants say to me, oh my gosh, I can't believe how much I'm allowed to eat, or how much I ate and still felt great, or how much I ate and still lost some weight. It's because we're putting real food and the right foods in our body. I always say you don't have to eat less, you just have to eat right. Big difference, okay? So the shakes are low glycemic. They're vegan and non-GMO. They're gluten and dairy-free, which you'll see in a minute is very important. They are plant-based protein instead of whey. For those of you who say, oh, I'll do this, but I'd like to substitute in a different shake, the only way that you should substitute in a different shake, if you have one that you really love, is if it is plant-based. No way, absolutely no way should be coming into your 10-day shred, because it is extraordinarily inflammatory. And honestly, I challenge you to try the complete and stand it up against whatever plant-based protein powder you're using, because it's really cost effective, it's delicious, it's non-chalky, and it's amazing, okay? How do we use it? I always say to people 2 packets a day. I like to chew. So I during the shred anyway, I use one as a meal and I use one as a snack. So for my meal, I will mix in a packet of the shake with almond milk and spinach and a banana and some almond butter, enough to make it an actual meal. And then at some other point during the day, and most of the time it's after I jog, because I'm a runner and I love to run, I will use it as like a post-workout kind of recovery drink. And I'll just take a packet and open it up and shake it into a canister of water and drink it. Okay, so that's how I do it. Other people do a shake for breakfast, shake for lunch. I like to do one meal as a shake and then one as a snack, okay? So what else are we doing during the 10-day shred? I already talked about the easy part. We're also going to shred, because people think Shred10 means 10 pounds. This is not a weight loss program. I am here to tell you this is a health management opportunity, okay? It's the best way to put it. Now, is weight loss often a side effect of that? Absolutely. If you've got some excess weight to lose, many, many people experience that. I don't want to make it about that. I want to make it about health. Because what happens is if you make it just about weight and you get to your ideal weight, then what? Do you go back to your same old ways? I don't want that to happen. This needs to be about health and serving you long term. So what the shred really stands for is for 10 days, we are shredding the food, the toxins, and the habits that are not serving us. And we're going to talk about the rest of those right now. This is a very easy way to just look at shred in a snapshot and say, what is it? We've already talked about some of this. We're going to add more real food, okay? So we're adding in our Juice Plus trio of capsules and 2 complete shakes. What else are we adding? Plenty of water. By plenty, they mean take your current body weight, divide that by 2, current body weight in pounds, divide that by 2, That's how many ounces of water you need to drink every day during the shred. You need to commit to sleeping for 7 to 8 hours a night. There are many of you on the phone who I've spoken to personally who will tell me, I only need 5. You don't only need 5. I promise. You think you only need 5, but you don't. Okay? So I want you to, my dad one time, and he's on the phone, my dad, when I was little, he used to always say to me, oh, Kim, how's it feel to always be right? Because I always thought I was right. And I don't always think I'm right, but I'm right here. Okay? I am right here. You need more than 5 hours of sleep a night. So during shred, I want you to sleep 7 to 8 hours every single night and exercise most days. I used to exercise a lot more than I do now. 30 minutes is my sweet spot. I can find 30 minutes a day. 30 minutes is a great place to be, and it's a great place to shoot for. It doesn't have to be consecutive. You might need to work out 10 minutes 3 different times or 15 minutes 2 different times, but shoot for 30 minutes a day while you're shredding. One of the things water is going to do and the exercise is going to do, it's going to accelerate that detoxification process. Remember, because of our Juice Plus Trio, we are really reducing that toxicity. We are really escalating that phase 1 and phase 2 reaction that happened in our liver. We are turning those toxins from fat soluble to water soluble. The more water we drink and the more we exercise, the more we are excreting those toxins and speeding up this process. Now we go into the eliminate. We are going to eliminate gluten, dairy, caffeine, alcohol, processed foods, sugars, and eating after 6 p.m. Now, before anyone on the phone checks out and sees something on that list that they think they can't do, I urge you to look yourself in the mirror and say the words, I can do anything for 10 days, except for hold my breath. And I'm not going to ask you to do that. I'm not going to ask you to hold your breath. You can do anything for 10 days. This is 10 days. All of eliminating all of those things are also really going to expedite that detoxification process that we talked about. You will get a shred guide, and you see that here. The shred guide walks you through in detail the why behind each one of those eliminates. So I encourage you to print out the shred guide when you get it and read it, because it will walk you through exactly why we're eliminating gluten, dairy, caffeine, alcohol, processed foods. For instance, like I normally eat gluten-free bread anyway because I don't do gluten on a regular basis because it just doesn't agree with me. But during the shred, my husband here makes bread because we don't want to eat the bread that's processed from the store. So it's not that we can't have that gluten-free bread, but we're going to make it here so that we know what's in it. So it's really actually a fun challenge to put yourself through anyway, because it just introduces you to so many great new recipes and ways of cooking. So that is a snapshot of what we're doing. What are some of the most common results? Craving more fruits and veggies, for sure. Healthier weight is a big one. Better recovery from workout, improved sleep, increased energy, healthier hair, nails, and skin, improved regularity, and increased mental clarity. I'm going to talk about this last one for just a minute. The physical things are oftentimes expected. And one of my friends who's actually on the phone tonight put it so well earlier when she was sharing about her shred results. What she said was like, the physical stuff was really expected. Like she expected all that stuff to happen. But like the mental health stuff caught her by surprise, right? And I can't tell you, I've gotten text messages this week, from people saying, is it usual, or would it be possible for anxiety to kind of totally go away as a result of something like this? Yes, it is possible. I'm almost to the point where I dare say like probable when it comes to mental clarity and feeling a better sense of calm and reduction of anxiety. I don't know whether it's my season of life or because of living right outside of DC, but apparently a lot of my friends have a decent amount of stress and anxiety in their life. And I can't tell you how awesome it's felt for me to get feedback from people that I didn't even know were struggling with it, that they cannot believe that their mind has calmed down, that their sense of calm is back, that they're sleeping like they've never slept before, and that their lingering symptoms of anxiety are gone. That is a blessing beyond blessing. So in addition to what I just talked about, the nutritional support that you'll be getting when you're taking the Juice Plus is extraordinarily studied. I do an hour-long talk on this, so I'm going to try to keep this to like 2 to 3 minutes. But it's been studied by some of the most renowned universities and research organizations in the world. Places like NIH, National Institutes of Health, have even, sponsored and paid for studies themselves. MD Anderson Cancer Institute. It's just the top-notch facilities are looking at and studying this product and seeing amazing results. Now, I want to just talk about this for a minute. Why does that matter? Why does the science matter? The science matters because a lot of these side effects and results are visual. They're easy to see. You can see if you lost weight, right? You can see if your bloat goes away. You can see if your skin clears up, if your eczema goes away. You can feel if your joint pain in your elbow goes away. Lots of that you can see. But I'm here to tell you that some of the most important things that are happening in your body when you flood it with Juice Plus and you're making some of these other really healthy decisions every day aren't things that you're going to see or feel, okay? There are things that need to be tested in a lab under a microscope. The gold standard research helps us understand exactly what's happening at the cellular level in a very controlled way, okay? The outcomes really stand as proof for me, right, of the changes that are happening inside when we're doing this. We can't necessarily feel prevention, okay? This is just kind of a little recap of all of the science. Reduces the markers of systemic inflammation. I got 2 texts within 15 minutes of getting on this call of people that shredded this month, both of them telling me that they had massive pain that had been there for years that's gone after 10 days. I cannot tell you how happy that made me. It literally made my day. It's been proven to help improve skin hydration, thickness, circulation. I mean, I'm 62, you guys. I'm just kidding. I'm 40. But I do feel like it's helped my skin and helped me maintain my youth. It reduces oxidative stress. I could and will talk about this for an hour sometime, but I'm not going to do it now. That is huge. A reduction in oxidative stress, measurable in a huge way in our body, means amazing things for our health. It is being delivered to our bloodstream. If it weren't, we'd have no need to test anything else. It helps to protect DNA from damage. What does this mean in short? It means that because my kids have been flooded with Juice Plus and Complete since they were born, Caitlin started at 1, Michael started in utero. It means when they go to have their children, the DNA that they're passing on is going to be far superior to what it would have been without that level of protection from birth to whenever it is that they decide to have children. A boost in the immune system. This is the biggest one for our family. Thank goodness we weren't chronically ill in any way when we started our Juice Plus journey, but we were probably catching every cold that came through Arlington at the time. We burned the candle at all 3 ends, not even 2 ends. We find a third and burn that one too. So we're around a lot of people. We're out doing a lot of stuff. We got sick a lot. Not horribly sick, but sick a lot. And if we feel anything coming on, we double up, we triple up, and we avoid it. If somebody in the family does get a little sick, it's so mild and quick and just not what we're seeing happening around us. Improving gum and periodontal health, also a big one. Contributing to cardiovascular wellness. I'm walking you through just one study and then I'm going to wrap up. What is the power of produce? Let's take a look at this. I talk about this study a lot. In fact, I shared it with my shredders on Valentine's Day because Valentine's heart thought it would be worth the while. But this is the kind of thing, because when you're shredding, you're going to see and feel things happening and you're going to be super excited, and so am I. But I want you to know what's also happening that you're not feeling, because this is massively important to the people you love and you care about. When we eat a high-fat meal, there is something that happens in our bodies called the vasoconstrictive effect of arteries. That means our arteries go like this. They constrict a little bit. Okay. The meal in this case that was tested was a McDonald's breakfast meal. And I share with people all the time, I don't eat at McDonald's, but it's certainly not because of the fat and calorie content. It's because of the chemical content. Okay. but it's the fat and calorie content that causes this vasoconstrictive effect, okay? So you take a look at this slide. At baseline, the placebo group who was eating a McDonald's breakfast meal, whose fat and calorie content was very similar to what I'm sure I do when I go out to eat at cleaner restaurants, but go out to eat. And as my friend yesterday said, she was like, I'm sure I do that at home too. And I'm sure we do sometimes too. But at baseline, these groups constricted anywhere between 40 and 47%. That blew me away. I was well aware that that happened. I had heard before and learned in my biology days that uptick of heart attacks at the holidays and New Year's and whatnot, it's not a coincidence. It's because people are eating higher fat, richer in calorie meals. Their arteries do this. If there's plaque or a blockage, that's a cardiac event. That scares the heck out of me. The fact that one meal that has the fat and calorie content that I would easily consume on a somewhat regular basis can have me constricting up to almost 50%. So this study was done at University of Maryland School of Medicine. After 4 weeks, the placebo group had no statistical difference, which shouldn't be surprising. The folks taking just the garden and orchard down here, so just the fruit and veggie blends, went from 45% down to 16%. So instead of doing this, it did only that. Big deal. The even bigger deal is that the garden, orchard, and vineyard, which is what we're going to do during our shred and for maintenance and beyond, that group started at almost 50%, right? Like that went down to virtually undetectable is what the study called it, 1.7%. I had a cardiologist walk me through this study. He pointed out the p-value, and my friend I was with yesterday used to be in pharmaceutical sales, and she was like, oh, tell me about p-value, because she said she used to talk p-value all day long, that doctors wouldn't even talk to her unless a study had a p-value that was extraordinarily good. She was crazy impressed by the fact that the p-value of this study was 0.02, which means that we can be 98% certain that the results that we just shared are caused by the variable being tested, which in this case is the Juice Plus. So think about that for just a minute. I love that my shredders were getting back to me with all of these results that they could visibly see, feel, and touch. But this is happening for them too. And that is even more important and extraordinary. So I already talked about the 10-day jumpstart and what we do. Here are the guidelines. I'm not going to review them again. As I said, a lot of my shredders today were like, I'm scared, I'm nervous, I'm lonely. You know, it's day 11. What now? Day 11, you get rolled into another group called a Healthy Living Revolution group. Okay, you stay in there till the end of time. We help support you. You can get recipes. We'll put workouts in there. We'll tell you when other shreds are coming up. You will have ongoing support for as long as you want it, okay? And hopefully for a lifetime. Part of the Live It plan that we want you to do, it is good to continue to eliminate gluten and dairy for at least 20 additional days. Beyond that, it's up to you. But that way, it's been out of your system for 30 whole days, and you can really begin to see if gluten or dairy was making a difference with any of the ails that were happening in your life or anything uncomfortable that may have been happening abdominally and whatnot. For me, that was certainly the case. I didn't realize how much gluten was affecting me until I eliminated it, quite frankly. And then I realized how good I could feel. But then we're still going to do our trio. I do 1 shake a day when I'm living it. Sometimes I do a shake every other day, but I still do them as regularly as I can because that complete nutrition of the fiber, of the protein is just an amazing thing to do. I still drink enough water. I still get enough sleep. I still exercise most days. But some of these from a consumption standpoint that were eliminate turn into reduce. So when you're in that live it phase, some people bring back some caffeine, some alcohol, some sugar, some processed foods, hopefully that are better choices than they were making before. You know, some that don't have those top 12 dirty list of ingredients in them. But it's doable. It's flexible. It's affordable. It's something that you can do forever and ever and ever. You can live it forever. And then whatever feels right to you, you jump back in for a shred. I host them every single month. So I personally shred 10 days a month and then live it 20 days a month. Shred it, live it, shred it, live it. And it works really well for me. I'm probably close to shredding it most of the time that I'm living it, because there's not a whole lot that I need to add back in. Shredding for me feels good and it feels very doable. I do add some alcohol back in. I'm not going to lie. I'm not going to lie. I do add some alcohol back in when I'm not shredding, but everything else kind of stays pretty standard. So keep in mind that it's not something that has to end after 10 days. A lot of people are looking for something more long-term. This is more long-term. It's just that more disciplined jumpstart is a 10-day period. And then we go into a period of a little bit more flexibility and a little more, makes it a little more doable for whatever it is that you're doing, for travel, for vacation, for whatever. And then shred every month if you want, shred every quarter if you want, shred when you feel like you need the jump start. What does shredding cost? So invest in yourself, Project You, I call it. So what you would need to order to shred would really just be one order of the Juice Plus Complete Drink Mix. It will send you 60 packets. And it will bill you in 4 monthly installments. You will likely be out of it before 4 months if you are really enjoying the shake. But to do just the 10-day shred, it's one packet of the complete drink mix, and then you do one order of the trio. So $71.25 a month for the trio. Also, one child ages 4 through college can eat for free for up to 4 years. So when people order, please call me with your child's name and date of birth, so that I can have free chewables ship out for them. We had about 20 neighbors that shredded this past month, and all of them got free chewables for their kids. So the bus should be a really healthy place a couple months from now. So this is what you're looking at as an investment to shred. If it's something that you love and you continue to do, and again, it is recommended that you can continue at a minimum on the trio. I like to do the trio and a shake a day. So for me, that's $4.40 a day. And I've totally stopped throwing produce away. And I have completely eliminated my multivitamins and many other supplements that I was taking. And I've replaced a meal. So I truly am saving money over what I was doing before. Absolutely. Even when I'm doing 2 shakes a day, that's $6.50 a day. That's still a savings for me, but this is really where I fall most days. Over here, this breaks down into about a shake every other day. If this is what you do in the Live It, a shake every other day, and your trio would cost you about $3.50 a day. So $3.50 for all 45 of those plants day in and day out. And if you are a budget person like we are, put it in the grocery budget. I say like we are, like Sean is. Sean's a budget person. I'm not. Luckily he is. He does all of the planning. But I just do the spending. But he put it in our grocery budget because that is truly and sincerely where it belongs. You will have a lot of support. I like to think of myself as a really good coach. I like to think of myself as somebody who really likes to link arms, partner with people, inspire people. It's fun for me. I love this. I absolutely love it. In fact, it made my day. Thank you, honey. It made my day earlier because 2 or 3 people sent me messages that were like, wow, I can just really tell how much you love this, because my shredders for the last 10 days have heard a lot from me on Facebook. I was even sending them live videos at like midnight from Mexico when we were there before the shred started, when we were in the Live It Up portion. But I love this. And you guys, you're going to have online coaching. You have so much more than just this framework. You will get a shred guide. You will get a Healthy Revolution cookbook, which is amazing. A Juice Plus complete smoothie guide. I also have a Juice Plus complete energy ball guide. So there's just so much you're going to get. You're going to get workouts every day. You get so much support. And I have had a lot of people tell me that they've tried a lot of other things, and what was missing was the community. And so we're very proud of that. We do use Juice Plus products, and there are tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of us out there that are part of what we call the healthy living revolution. But it's not just us. We're not the only ones that are part of it. You guys are too. You guys that are participating in the shred, you are also part of that healthy living revolution, because people are watching you. And I'm going to show you that in one slide. I swear I've got 2 minutes left and I'm done. I do always like to show this because I am very proud of the fact that I consider Juice Plus to be on par with like a Nordstrom as far as their customer support and their guarantees. They are very good about a satisfaction guarantee. Their refund policy is an unconditional 100% money back guarantee on anything shipped in the last 6 months. So when I say that you have nothing to lose except bad habits, I mean it. You absolutely positively have nothing to lose. Remember when I said earlier, the most important people in your lives are watching? I always say that one of my favorite quotes is, and I can't remember who said it, but to be inspired, and I'm going to probably slaughter the quote, but to be inspired feels good, but to inspire is great. You know, when you're inspiring other people to make healthy changes, it feels so good. And for every single one of my shredders, I told them today, there were people watching you these last 10 days that you don't even know were watching you. Not in a creepy way, guys, not in a creepy way, just in an inspirational way. Like these people who shredded with me the last 10 days, they were inspiring and pushing others to do things they had never thought about doing before. This was just taken 3 days ago. This is my daughter, Caitlin's spelling list for the week. Okay. And I found it after she went to bed one night and I laughed out loud because she had written a little red 10 behind the word shred. So the next day I was like, Caitlin, this just warmed my heart. And I said, describe to me what you think Shred10 is. I've never sat down and told her what Shred10 is. She's just witnessed us shredding. She sees me on Facebook making videos and you know, talking on the phone to my people who are shredding. So she said to me, her quote is right here. She said, well, it's like when a group of friends shred some bad habits for 10 days and then like switcheroo in some really great habits and you cheer each other on and then you celebrate at the end because you all feel amazing, right? And I was like, absolutely. Oh my gosh. Sean just said, absolutely. I was so taken back. I was like, oh my gosh, the most important people in my life are watching me do this and they're learning and they get it. Mission accomplished. You know, I love helping anyone. Believe me, I love helping anyone. But knowing that my kids get it, that they really get it, and that she described it better than I have in the last hour, I should have just said that instead of wasting all your time. Next time I'll have Caitlin do the call. But it really, really struck me as amazing. I put this together right before the call because these results all just came in. Hopefully you're not seeing my bar up top. I don't know if you are. Let me put it to the bottom. These were some results just from the last 10 days. I'll give you a second to take it in. If you want, you can send me a private message or ask the person who invited you to this call for this slide. If you'd like to see some of these results, I'm happy to share it out. I have people just write their first name and then Shred10 and what their results were. But if you take a look there, it's pretty amazing. And unfortunately, I mean, there's some hearts and some exclamations and smiley faces and I love, and some underlines and some bolds and whatnot. But I talked to many of these people during the course of the last 10 days and certainly over the last 48 hours as they were getting me their results. And to hear in their voices how they feel about this, like, you just don't even know. It is the best feeling in the world to do what I do. And I said earlier, I was like, I'm not sure, I was leaving my shredders a message actually. I said, I'm not sure why I ever did anything but this, you know, because I didn't know it existed for a long time. But there is just something incredibly rewarding about helping people I know and love and people I don't know and still love to feel this way and to get healthy. And we need more people doing this with us. And we are always in growth mode. We always need more people coaching Shred10 groups. We always need more people involved in this healthy living revolution. But please, please, please think long and hard about some of the things that we talked about this evening, because I have never in my life, and I've done a lot of things. My mom and dad are on the phone because they're going to shred in March. They can tell you I've done a lot of things. I've done a lot of things in my life. This is extraordinary. This program, this 10-day shred is awesome. And I really cannot wait for all of you to be involved. Okay, so are we ready to shred? That is the question. I have no idea why these little lines are going on here. Somebody's like, get off the phone. You've been talking for an hour. Somebody's sabotaging me. One last quote. Ambition is the first step to success. So do you want this? Somebody really is annotating for me. Do you want this? If you want that, that's ambition. And then the next step, is that you? Okay. Somebody says they're ready. All right. Well, somebody's ready. That's awesome. The second step is action. Okay. So this is what we want now. Action. It's time for action. I've done a lot of talking tonight. I truly intended this to be 30 minutes. My apologies. I'm never good at keeping things short, but it's only because I love you guys. It's only because I love you. So thank you for your time. I'm going to stop recording and then I'm going to open it up and stay on as long as you need me to.